Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where in today's video, I'm going to take you through my 4 exam day predictions for the ACCA SBL examination in the March 2025 sitting for the charity Historic Places. My name is James. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my free resources. And if you'd like a copy of my exclusive notes you can see above me, just click the link into the description of this video and you can have a copy yourself. I'm also delighted to say that I'm associated and affiliated with Astranti, and you can access their pre-scene analysis packs, mock exams. All you have to do is click the link down in the description of this video and you can check them all out there. And for pure transparency, as always on the channel, if you were to purchase anything through those links down below, I'd be entitled to a small commission which goes to supporting the YouTube channel. But as always, a massive thank you. I hope you enjoy the video going through my predictions. Just a caveat at the start, of course, I have no insights. I've not seen the exam paper. Sorry to be a spoiler. These are the things that I'd be thinking of if I was in your position. But let me know in the comments as well what you think is going to come up, and you can share ideas down there as well. But we're going to come on to my first exam day prediction now. You're going to have to go down to page number 8 because the first area that I've got down is risk management analysis on there. This is where you've got to go to the risk section. You can see on the right hand side, we've been given reputation, income, employees and volunteers, financial resources, performance on there. And first of all, I've got down that we've got the TARA model, a major possibility here, because that is all about a structured approach to managing risk by classifying those risks into the 4 categories of either can we transfer the risk, can we completely avoid the risk, can we reduce the risk down, or can we actually just accept it, move on, and keep the business ticking over on there. So that is one of the first key models on there that we've been given a load of risks. The TARA model would be quite easy to apply, and then we've got the trustees and the executive board who would be accountable to those risks. You can also see in my notes on the left-hand side that PESTLE is another area that could link into risk management analysis, that we've got hints of the economic factors that the actual charity of Historic Places is currently experiencing a recession, and therefore the income levels are dropping down. That's our economic factor we could discuss. There are the social factors of the employees and volunteers. Some are paid, some are not paid, and the risk of actually losing the volunteers who really help encapsulate what the sites are all about and encouraging more visitors. And I've actually put in my notes for you to check out, scrolling all the way down to the bottom, a few more ideas that I thought about from a political side. We've had hints about the government's interest on here, regulation, potential local authority factors. Technology-wise, we've been given information systems, the potential cyber security threats on there, data risks. You've got all these actual members who are giving away their information to be part of the charity. There are also factors of potential lawsuits, non-compliance, fines, data breaches for legal factors. In other words, those are certain areas of the PESTLE theory on there that could be applied, and there are lots of different areas in the pre-C notes and that could be given on the exam day that could link into it on there. So thinking about the risk management analysis, also with the accountability linked back to the executive board, the trustees, and the different stakeholder groups. So that is my exam day prediction number 1. The TARA model and the PESTLE theory potentially linking into risk management analysis on there. Now, my exam day prediction number 2. This is all about stakeholder analysis. And we're coming on to, as you can see, on the left-hand side, page 7 for you to take it down in your notes, where we have Mendelow's matrix model. Could easily be applied here. We've been given a nice breakdown as to the key stakeholders. And Mendelow's matrix model is all about, well, what is the balance between the different stakeholder groups? How much power do they have? Do they have little power? Do they have a lot of power? And the level of interest that they have in the organisation. So a little bit of interest or a lot of interest. And therefore, you have to take the pre-C materials, the stakeholder groups we'll come on to in a moment, and say, shall we just keep that stakeholder group satisfied? Are they a key player? Do they require minimal effort? Or do we just sort of need to keep them informed? Again, you can see diagrams of this in your core text. Again, I've linked down below if you're looking for a SBL core text and some other free resources, so check it out on there. But Mendelow's matrix could be applied to the variety of different areas. You've got the employees, the volunteers, suppliers and contractors. IT systems is a potential other area that could be linked in with the IT director on there. Now, when we're coming on to stakeholders, it actually overlaps with a variety of other different areas. And the one I've put down here is linking into the 6 capitals of integrated reporting. Now, we're doing this in March 2025, and if you were to look back at some of the 2024 past papers, the 6 capitals of integrated reporting have actually been tested on some of those. So you're kind of thinking, will they test it again? If I was in your shoes, I'd definitely make sure that you are comfortable with those 6 areas: financial, manufactured, intellectual, human, social, and relationship and natural capital. So these capitals are the basis of an organisation's value creation. In other words, what Historic Places does to attract the visitors in to gain the charity's revenue, and discuss the usefulness of this information to stakeholders. Again, you can see how it could be applied. I'd be getting down some notes and areas for those 6 capitals on there. Could potentially come up for stakeholders. The last one that links into stakeholders, again, this is why we've been given lots of information. I had to cover it on there, is, you can see on here, the Johnson, Scholes and Whittington model on the left-hand side. Now, this is not a common framework or anything on those lines. You might have seen it down as the SAF model in your actual core text, and that's because it relates to suitability, acceptability, and feasibility on there. In other words, it actually assesses whether a strategy aligns with the organisation's goals and is practically achievable and is considered acceptable by stakeholder groups. So again, even probably as I'm telling you this, you're going, that's got some legs, that could be tested on there. I definitely want to add that to my list. So it might be under SAF model in your core text, or Johnson, Scholes and Whittington. Get it down, could potentially come up and link into the different areas on there. So don't overlook it. And the final thing is on page 3. That is where we've got heritages, charities, significant stakeholders. They mention it again. You've got a nice breakdown there of 6 different stakeholders, well, 8, 9 technically on there. But the other key thing, just to touch on it, is they always keep hinting on here which of the stakeholder groups are paid and which are not paid. Another factor, as they don't like charities to be wasting money. So that is area number 2, stakeholder analysis on there. My prediction number 3 now is the charity's operations. Now, where are we going with this? I'm going to come back down to page 5 in my notes because we've got to talk about Porter's value chain here. And this is a strategic management tool that helps businesses to identify and improve. In other words, how can the charity have a competitive advantage and get better on there? Looking through their activities, how can each activity add value? Where can they make efficiencies, reduce costs, and insights to develop and get a bit better? And when you look through the actual pre-seed notes, have a look through the background information, especially on the income and expenditure on the right-hand side now, they talk about the shops, the big ones, the small ones, how they operate, the membership fees on there. So don't overlook Porter's value chain. I think it definitely could be applicable, and you've got a lot of things to talk about. Now, in terms of the operations, as you go through, we've been given a variety of different things, financial and non-financial. You can see on the left-hand side with the KPIs. Make sure you've got that split on there. You can see my little A and little B on the screen. But to link into that is SWOT analysis now. I'm sure you've heard it all before and you're thinking to yourself, oh, SWOT analysis, that would be Christmas has come early if that's come up. Well, it would be, so make sure you are prepared for it. I've given you a little breakdown you can see on the left-hand side as to the heritage, and it's a well-established charity looking after projects and artifacts over 300 years old. They haven't really got any competition on there, but they have got massive costs, which is a weakness, and decreasing revenues. Opportunities, maybe a better functioning website, increasing donations, looking at new sites, new projects. But the one I think has got a lot to talk about is the threat side of the loss of staff and volunteers, the recession, economic climate, cash flow management, poor margins, and you can link it into both financial and non-financial areas like those KPIs we've just touched on. And also on page 10, you can see on the graphs, the income is flatlining in 2003, whereas the operating expenses are going up on there. So that is my prediction area number 3, the charities operations themselves. Now coming on to my final exam day prediction for number 4, and this is all about the 2-tier board linking into something to do with ethics and governance on there now. So the key bit for you to have a look at, first of all, and again, not the most common model or anything like that, but I thought I'm going to throw it in with this because it kind of overlaps. And that's the 3 E's model you can see on the left-hand side on page 9. And this is all about discussing obligations of public sector organisations to meet the economic and effectiveness and efficiency criteria to promote public values. In other words, we've been given things about the economy, how efficient the charity's been running, are they effective? We've got the 2-tier board we're going to come on to in a moment. But again, another little model, I'd be saying I definitely want a few points for each of those E's to refer to. A caveat as well, I've updated the notes for that tiny bit here and for the 6 capitals just before this recording because I thought to myself, I have to get it down on there. So if you're looking at it going, hang on, my one that I've got on there doesn't have it, those are the only 2 little adjustments because I couldn't sleep tonight if I didn't put it in the recording because I just had that inkling. I thought I want to get it down. So apologies for that, but it is there now in the recording. Just make a little note. I couldn't sleep tonight on it if we didn't get it down. As I said, we're touching on ethics and governance. I can't not put down with that up on page 1. The code of ethics, integrity, objectivity, professional behaviour, competence and confidentiality. Now in the exam, it's take those and apply it to the scenario, apply it to the requirement. That is the key thing, along with linking it into those professional skills marks on the left. Now the reason why I think it could overlap with those different areas is students traditionally are terrible when it comes to commercial acumen and skepticism. Skepticism, the key word for you to get down is challenging the scenario, challenge the requirement, and if you get something thrown in there about ethics and governance, I think it could link into that particular professional skills mark area with commercial acumen, applying it to the charitable sector and the details you'll see in my notes as you go through. If you do that, you've got a very good chance of passing on there. So where are the areas in the pre-seen notes that I think ethics is a particular, that could come up, there's a bit of riskiness there. Well, on the right-hand side, page 2, for you to get down, we have the Charity Supervisory Board and the Statement of Recommended Practice. I've highlighted those on the notes, and these are key areas in ACCA that you need to be applying in your answer. Ethics will be on your exam in one way or another, but the key thing I think on here is what the CSB actually does. Now you can see, I'll put my mouse on it on there on the right, the CSB investigates allegations that charities are not acting in accordance with their charitable objectives, so that's the KPIs and other areas we've seen below, and then from that are behaving unethically and are misusing funds or otherwise breaching regulations. So you can see they're kind of giving us an unethical hint there, along with what it actually means in terms of the Statement of Recommended Practice. So refer back to it on there. Historic places is actually governed on here. So larger charities whose annual income exceeds $10 million need to report on internal controls and risk management systems. Historic places qualifies for that. So again, when we talked about point 1, risk management analysis, that's another thing you should be having in your arsenal to apply on the exam day. The last area for a ethics sort of hint that we've got is if you go down to page 7, and this links into the executive board structure and the accountability, and if someone was to have an ethical question thrown at them that links into the scenario, look at the code of conduct paragraph on the left, and we're told that Historic Places has a code of conduct. We're not told what is in it, but it is applicable to trustees, executive directors, paid employees, and volunteers on there. So these are the stakeholder groups, but it's the next sentence. This is it. Let me take you through it. The code includes core principles relating to professional behaviour, commitment, adherence to decisions made by the boards, confidentiality, conflicts of interest, and bribery. And I just think to myself, well, they've hinted at 2 areas of the ACCA Code of Ethics there, and therefore it's an opportunity for a student to apply their pre-seed knowledge that they've got from the pre-seed information, and it's going to show up a student who's done the background research, read between the lines, and if ethics was to come up, then that is another potential area on there. That's not to say you can see in my notes there are lots of other hints and tips on there. You've got the POP-IT model for the operating activities. But if I was limited to 4, those are my 4, ladies and gentlemen, as an overview. Number 1, risk management analysis. Number 2, stakeholder analysis. Number 3, the charity's operations. And then number 4, the 2-tier board approach. Well, thank you very much. If you've enjoyed the video and you found value in it, be sure to give it a massive like and leave me a comment below what exam day predictions you think might come up. Make sure you download a copy of these notes and check out the Astranti mock papers and pre-seen packs. They're all linked below. Best of luck with your exam, and click another video after this one because it will take you to the next one in the series. So thank you very much.